From our studios around the world, this is the Taste of Place podcast. Each month, we share stories from the keepers of culinary culture and heritage to spark ideas for your professional path or your next travel adventure. I'm your host, Eric Wolf. Thanks for listening. Welcome to episode 78 of the Taste of Place podcast. Today, we will be speaking with Paule-Odile Béké, an Ivorian-French chef who shares her journey from sneaking street food in Abidjan to founding her Afro-fusion catering company in London and competing on MasterChef. She reflects on her culinary roots, the influence of family, her experiences in Paris and London, and her mission to elevate Ivorian cuisine on the global stage. Chef Paule also discusses resilience in the kitchen, the importance of mentorship, and her exciting new ventures with Ivorian food and drink products. This episode is sponsored by the World Food Travel Association's Culinary Capitals program, recognizing unexpected yet fantastic food destinations around the world. Learn more at worldfoodtravel.org. Paule, welcome to the show today. It is so nice to meet you. I'm glad that you could finally make some time to be on our show.
Thank you, Eric. I'm really happy to be here as well.
So you have to tell me a little bit about growing up in Ivory Coast and about the food, because our association has an ambassador in the Ivory Coast, but I have to say that I've not been to West Africa, and our ambassador says that before I visit any other country in West Africa, I need to visit Ivory Coast first. And I know there's a strong French influence, so could you share what it's like to grow up in Ivory Coast and a little bit about the food as well?
So first of all, she is right. You need to come to Ivory Coast first. But to answer your question, the particularity of Ivory Coast with all my memories, from my viewpoint, is that street food is a strong thing. Even though we also eat a lot of delicacies, I think that it's been like, how do you say? Okay, so basically in Ivory Coast, what makes the cuisine thrive is street food. Although we also have the traditional food and more delicacies, these delicacies has been kind of, let's say, modernized and been in the street food scene as well. Let's say, for example, when I was a younger little girl, I used to sneak out, and my mom was always upset about that. This is a very strong memory of mine because she didn't like me to eat street food at all. And she was always afraid that I would catch disease, like gastric disease and things like that because of hygiene or whatever. But when you're a kid, you just don't care. And it was so good. So I had like a lot of experience, as I said before, sneaking out and going to eat, for example, the suya skewer, which is we call it pain brochette. Basically, it's the bread with those little skewers seasoned with a suya powder. And this is so nice. And you have many other like fried dough, like puff puff, as Nigerian call it, but we call it something else in French. And also we have it's all like about like either savory or sweet. So basically, I loved everything.
So is that what gave you your passion for food then, was sneaking out and trying all the street food?
Exactly.
Okay. And
Exactly.
how did you then take your love for the street food? How did you turn that into a career as a chef?
So basically, the street food is a thing, but also my dad was a chef. And I grew up in an environment where the kitchen was everywhere. It was all around me, as my mom was also a very good cook. So he had like the ability to showcase the fine dining French way of cooking, and my mom was more like teaching me the traditional dishes. So this, with my love for the street food, made me change my career later on, because I own a master in international business. So I just completely made a 360-degree change to my career because of my passion.
Sounds like it was a good mix between your mother's traditional recipes and your father's chef training. It was the perfect match that brought it all together.
Exactly.
And how would you define your cuisine today? Would you say it's kind of innovative or traditional with a twist, or how would you call it?
It's hard to define. I call it fusion, African fusion, because I use the traditional one and I just plate it restaurant way, as we all also say refined. But I wouldn't really use the name refined, because Ivorian cuisine, as every cuisine, of course, is like very simple and full of flavor. However, we need to put our food in standards, like restaurant standards, or nowadays like award-winning, like Michelin star, etc., or rosette, as in the UK standards, to make it. Excuse me. So we have to make it Michelin star standard, or AA rosette, as in the UK standard, to make it a bit like well known by most of the people. And also, I think that my cuisine, as I said, is a real fusion, because it really depends on the place I am. I've been traveling a lot and been living in many different countries before. So that experience helped me embrace the culture of the country I'm living in, and then blending my Ivorian knowledge of the cuisine and tradition to the local cuisine, or local, adapted to the local tastes and to the people, of course, as well.
Can you hear the dog barking outside? You,
No, I didn't.
you don't? Okay, good. All right. Because if he does, I'm going to have to put myself on mute. So, um, and now it's interesting that you are in London, because with the Côte d'Ivoire and France connection, I would have thought France. But did you have a restaurant in Paris, or what's the French connection there?
So the French connection is that I've been living in Paris for a long time, and my mom is French. So after growing up all my teenage age in Ivory Coast, excuse me, I continued school and uni in France. So that's I've been living in France, and now I have a restaurant there called Cassava in Paris.
But you work at the one in London.
Exactly. So I'm just the chef owner in France. So we have like a team there with my business partner. And now, because we don't share the same vision, we are getting to split.
Okay.
So
So, which city do you like better, London or Paris?
London for sure.
Okay, why is that?
Because Paris has my heart, because this is home, basically. I grew up in Paris. I know every bit of the region, the Greater Paris and everything. However, I fell in love with London. And first of all, I came in London for love, because it was my boyfriend at the time that I came for. A lot of back and forth from Paris to London, etc. Thank you, Rooster. And then after, I really fell in love with the city, with the energy, and also the way Londoners are. This is a very eclectic city, and especially on the food scene, it was starting to burst and getting more and more explorative with a great diversity of cuisine that I haven't seen in Paris, which is more conservative and more like gastronomic, etc. We have other cuisine as well, but it's food in France is taken very seriously.
Interesting. Well, I was in Paris a couple of years ago. We have an ambassador of our association there as well, and I had not been in France for 40 years before, and I think that maybe it was we'll talk about when you're a tourist in France, right, and stereotypes, and maybe I was a little scared to visit France, but actually I had a great time. I thought Paris was wonderful. I had some amazing meals. I have to agree with you. I think London is pretty special.
Exactly. Because you have many cuisine, and honestly, I really love it because everybody comes and try to master their art. And when I make a comparison before to now, like the 20 past years, it's the cuisine there evolved very nicely because before English cuisine was not great. Sorry.
Well, I think you find the best food in the country in London for sure, but I think some of the other regions like Bristol, I used to live in the UK and we were very close to Bristol, and there's a lot of really good food in Bristol as well. And I think that this is kind of, and even up in Scotland and Glasgow and Edinburgh, the sentiment about buying local, sourcing local, seasonal as well, and honoring your local producers, whether it's a butcher or a dairy or wherever the fruits and so on. I think that has really caught on in a big way, and there is a really good climate there for growing a lot of things and raising a lot of things. So means that UK could, I mean, look at things like the cheeses and the ales, of course, as well in the UK. They've got some wonderful value-added products too.
Exactly.
Uh,
Like even the crabs, the tomatoes, for example, from the Isle of Wight. This is wonderful.
yeah. Well, now, how did you find your way to the MasterChef series? Because that is quite an accomplishment. And first of all, congratulations, because that's very cool. But tell us
Thank
how
you.
you came to be on that show.
So basically, a friend, she just started the application for me and she said, "Oh, you should go there and everything." And I said, basically, she was stuck. And then she said, "Okay, you should apply." I said, "Why?" Because I, I was not really keen to do it because, I'm quite a shy person, let's say, shy person, yes. And I didn't want to expose myself as well as another trait of my personality, which is perfectionist. If it's not done properly, then you don't need to go there. Otherwise, you will just come back face down, and no, it's shameful. So I said no. So she did it. She forced my hand basically, and when she was like, "Oh, I need to do this, to do that," why are you asking me those questions? Oh, okay. Finally, oh, MasterChef. Oh, okay. So, so I played, and I played the game basically, and then I just applied, and I applied quite late in the process. I think it was the last month that they were still taking a application, and so I applied, and I had a response 3 days after. It was a extremely quick process. And I was amazed. It was so cool because I was really impressed about that, especially when I get in. The production told me that the other people who applied very early in the process, they've been waiting for months before the show. And I say, oh, okay. Before getting an answer and everything. So yes, basically I applied. 3 days after I had been shortlisted for the first stage. After that, a week after, they called me to say, okay, you are successful. We want to see in our studio. And then the week after, they were happy for me to be a contestant. So congratulations and everything. That's how it will be, etc., etc. So it was a very good experience. basically to enter the show, it was quick. And also during the show, let's say that the team was wonderful. The judge is amazing. Honestly, I was very afraid because when you see the show, you see them, they are very serious, judgmental faces. But in reality, they make everything for you to be at ease, because they know it's not easy. They know that it's not easy, and they really want to make it work.
Well then, for you.
Yes, that worked well. However, I didn't get too far because I was at the time I was starting my restaurant cassava, so I was not fully into the show, unfortunately. So that's what cost me the what do you call it?
Place in the show?
Exactly, the place in the show.
Okay.
Yes, I appeared in the video and everything. However, my other colleagues, because we were four, they gave a lot more. And I have to be honest. Yes, I have to be honest, because my food was very good, but I didn't have time, for example, to plate properly, because plating is really, really important, not only for the eye, but also for how you eat the food. For example, I propose a proper staple of Ivory Coast for my main dish, which is cassava couscous. We call it acheke. And it was coming with the stew. So basically, you eat all together, you mix both. And because the plating was not as I wanted it to be, the judges ate each ingredient and dishes differently, apart from each other's.
Okay.
Yeah, so the taste was not the same, it's not exactly the same. And I was also stressed, so petrified. So when they were eating, instead of guiding them, because you're allowed to do that, you're allowed to say, okay, you need to pour this, you need to eat this way or that way. I was like so stressed, petrified, and didn't say anything. But
It's too bad, but it's still was it still a great experience?
exactly, great experience, great people, great chefs around me as well. And the judges, to be honest, they really love the food. They even licked the sauce and everything. So, but they had to choose someone. So that's why.
Yeah. Well, what would you say was the impact after being on the show to your personal life or your career or whatever? How did you change as a person or as a professional after being on the show?
So, after being on the show on the personal side, it helped me know my priority as a chef, because it helped me redefine really what I really want, and where I want to go in the career, and in what I want to show people about my cuisine. And also in the professional part, I had like solicitations, and even for my clients that I had before, um, I had more calls, and they were very happy. They were proud. So you have a lot of word of mouth. Sorry. So the client were my client were very happy. So you had a lot of word of mouth, and they were talking about my achievement as MasterChef and how I did, because they all saw the show, and actually I really did good. So it was kind of a pride. So it bring me another client, and yes, it was good. It was good.
Good. So, what advice could you give to young people who are maybe interested in food, want a career as a star chef, but maybe they aren't, maybe they haven't even started the culinary arts training yet? What advice would you give them about a career as a chef?
So my advice, for the young people who want to become chefs is first of all to really think about your resilience, and if you really love the food and the kitchen, because if you are not driven with passion in the food industry, there is no way you will last there. Either you will be unhappy or you will just do it by default. So this is completely something that you need to think about first, and it's hard work. Contrary to what people tend to say today, oh, before it was very, very hard, and now, people are not that tough or this or that. I think that's not true. People change in a good way, meaning that, especially with the the people raising awareness about mental health in the industry. So you have still loads of issues. However, people are, your team members are very, let's say, like, becomes a family, because we spend a lot of time there in the kitchen or in a restaurant or a hotel. Your workplace. So you spend long hours. You have a lot of people to deal with. It means that you have to have communication skills, good communication skills, and also you need to know how to read people, basically. So if you are someone who is not really social, that's not a job for you, because it's a whole team, is an ensemble that you need to make the machine work. Basically, it's like a car, every piece has its own job to do, and to make it work. So basically, it's a really good job. It's a I love what I'm doing, and especially when customers are happy with what you are doing, the food you give them, memories you bring to them, and the way that, for example, for celebrations, you make people feel special, happy, and so on. That's the best feeling in the world for me. So to sum up, if a young chef wants to become, to continue in the hospitality world, they have to be, first of all, they have to love what they do. They have to be passionate about the product. Also, mentoring is really important, because if you go to a kitchen and you start with people who, for example, bully you, are not good to you, or shout at you all the time and don't show you the right way, and they don't transmit. There is no transmission of their passion, of the product, of the techniques, and the way of doing, of leading a kitchen that will help you later on. Then it must be an issue, because also meeting the right people, the right mentor is essential. And I've been great to meet very good chefs and mentors, which makes that I am me today.
Say that we should be serving a memory and not necessarily a meal. And so many times, food is just put in front of you. It's not explained. You have no idea about the history, the context, or, like you said, the order in which to eat the food, and so on. And that's that's just to fill your stomach. That's not to learn something about the people or the history or the ingredients or the dishes or anything like that. So. But I think that's really good advice that you offer. There's a lot of younger people today, and I know this because I have friends who have been either culinary arts school instructors or gone through culinary arts training, And they say that there's a lot of younger people that just sit there and they think like they don't need to do the training, they don't need to learn knife skills. They just will suffer through the school and then they'll go straight into the star chef position. And
Exactly.
it's a lot of hard work. And you, I don't think anyone likes an arrogant coworker.
I exactly. You are so right. Because yes, people nowadays they think that I mean not people nowadays. Young people now they really think that, as you say, they get out of the culinary school, they don't have any experience, and they think that because they are getting out of a famous culinary school, they think that everybody owes them everything. But that's not. It doesn't work like that. And if you see, for example, the chefs before, they just had what we call in France le CAP, which is like the basic diploma of cooking. Is not even A level diploma, so it's below. And when you have that diploma, you start from nothing and you build your career on experience. So, as you say, if you want to be arrogant and be there, okay, I've done culinary school, I know everything, then no one will want to work with you. So, yes, basically, it's just all about humbling yourself, be willing to learn and be curious about everything around you, not only the food, not only, but the techniques also are very important. And the way of handling yourself, I must say, is really important. Because if you are, for example, all over the place, or you come all the time with stains on your chef jackets or something like that, it shows that you don't really care, because you need to be aligned to what you are doing. And yes.
How do you interpret or how do you feel about Gordon Ramsay's style?
Okay. Gordon Ramsay style. Gordon Ramsay is a great chef. He is a great chef. He has been demonified by the his show because that's a character. He has to be there. That's for sure. And I never worked with him directly, but I've been working one of his kitchen before. So Maze Grill as a chef de partie, and it was just for a short amount of time, 3 months or something, like 3 or 6 months, something like that. And yes, I never saw him there because I assume he was very busy. Maybe it's a chance for me. Most of the people I know, the chefs I know who worked with him, say that the guy, some people, I mean, actually, it's half-half. People just hated him. The rest of the half just loved him. So I must say that professionally speaking, he's a great chef and achieved a lot of stuff. Personally, I would say that I think that now his achievement makes him had some of his restaurant like put his standards a bit lower, because I've been in some of his restaurants and the food was not as good as it is praised. So I think that when that's the issue as well when you are everywhere. So if it was like, maybe let's say, like, it's good to be successful. Don't get me wrong. It's good to be successful and to have good a lot of places. However, and again, we come back to the teamwork and to the human. You need to choose your coworker and your chefs very carefully, because these are the people who will bring your brand further. So yes, basically, Gordon Ramsay is a great chef. However, it needs to be careful of the quality of what it is at the moment.
You've just identified as true. A city like Las Vegas, which is known for having all of the famous chefs have restaurants there. But the thing is, when you go to those restaurants, the food is nothing like the original, nothing. And the chefs, the famous chefs themselves, don't actually work there. They entrust the operations to whoever, restaurant manager, another chef that's going to take over. And they may not have the same training, they may not have the same vision or passion or need for perfection, say like you do, and they'll put out a meal. It's like you go to Todd English's restaurant, right? And it's Todd's not cooking today. Todd's not ever cooking. So anyway, um, but that's interesting that you look at it that way. I would have to agree with you on that. So let me ask you then, what's next for your career? Are you going to be focusing on the London restaurant for a while, or are you going to branch out? Are you going to do a line of sauces or catering company? What's next for you?
So I already have a catering company called Douceurs d'Ivoire, which will turn 10 next year.
Passion.
So, merci. And yes, so I'm very proud of Douceurs d'Ivoire because I started literally Douceurs d'Ivoire when I was leaving the corporate world. Because before being a chef, I was working as a project manager, properly corporate, and yeah, this company is really the reflection of bringing the Ivorian cuisine out there. I want to be the advocate of that cuisine and make it known as Italian or Chinese or Thai cuisine more lately, because this is a great achievement. And I do that in my company by having different services. I propose different services. We have events. We cater for events. We propose consulting, for example, opening restaurants, helping for team training, and also recipe development, the whole menu, etc. So like it's a very complete service for the consulting. Um, Also we have like master classes, and I already started to sell some products, tea, but unfortunately I didn't have the time to continue, but it was working well. So I promised myself to continue that tea project, because it was like all infusion, African, plant-based, for example, like hibiscus, which is very extremely trendy at the moment. You see hibiscus everywhere, and I was like, oh my God, this is my childhood. For me, hibiscus is just a juice, like orange juice in Europe. It's just like, that's my juice. So I don't know why people are raving about it, but it's a very good plant. So, and you have other plants like that who are very, very good for the body. And I would even say for the soul as well. And that needs to be well known and better known. So yes, I will continue that tea venture. And the next one is to sell what we call in Ivory Coast, koutoukou. So my two next project is like I want to sell the koutoukou, which is a palm sap liqueur, basically.
That sounds nice. What does that taste like?
It tastes like, I mean, you need to taste it, because it's really it's an earthy taste, and it's also high in volume because it's a 54 degree of alcohol.
Very
So
strong.
across, it's very strong, but it's not harsh, because when you drink it, it's like very soft after in the throat. So, and the taste is like fruity. It's a bit nutty as well. It's really, really nice and very fragrant as it tastes. It's not, for example, like vodka. which is quite plain, but koutoukou has a very characteristic taste, which people need to try.
You're going to continue to expand your team so that you can focus on these other projects? 'Cause you need more people, obviously, to do more stuff.
Exactly. So for everything catering, I already have a team in London and also in Paris. So I'm working also with people in Paris for the event catering there, like wedding and everything. Same as in London and also Abidjan, Ivory Coast. So yes, it's already something I'm doing, but as you say, I really need more people to focus on the other project, like the alcohol importing in the UK. Also doing my food boxes. That's a project as well that I've been launching, but has been cut off by unfortunately the COVID period. I was about to launch food in the supermarket, Ivorian and by extension West African food, because I really want to be. For the little story, in the UK, we have a lot of English-speaking countries present, English speaking countries like Ghana, Nigeria, and other Eastern African countries. So their cuisine is a lot represented in London, in the London food scene. And this is a very good market for me because it's still West Africa. We have loads of similarities, but we don't call it the same way. And you have also some dishes that are not well known. So people want to change. They want to discover other things that they already know. Like, for example, the jollof rice, the well-known jollof rice. So we call it cheboujen in Ivory Coast, like the Senegalese does, because we cook it the same way as they do. And we call it the original one, the OG. You know, exactly. That's why I can't hear you.
Ghanaians and people from Togo and Nigeria really got it from Senegal and Ivory Coast, but then they said that they made it themselves first. I wonder who was really first.
The first are the Senegalese, the Gambian, because even the name jollof, jollof is the name of the city in Senegal. Just that tells you everything.
That tells you everything.
Which is nothing from Ghana or Nigeria. So, and a lot of people don't know that. So.
Well, I think we've just proven the origin of jollof rice now.
Exactly.
Well, this is fascinating. You have piqued my interest in Ivorian cuisine, and I would love to meet you one day. You look like a fascinating person, and I really respect all that you've accomplished and done for yourself in your life. So congratulations, and I hope we meet one day.
Thank you very much, Eric. I really hope we meet one day as well.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
That's it for this episode of the Taste of Place podcast. This episode is brought to you by the World Food Travel Association and its Culinary Capitals Destination Certification Program. We'd like to hear from you. We invite you to share your ideas, questions, and thoughts about the podcast by contacting us through our website, or you can connect with us and comment about the episode on major social media platforms. Special thanks to our guest Paule-Odile Béké, and our sincerest thanks to you for joining us. I'm Eric Wolf, wishing you a safe, happy, and productive month ahead.